Recording live from Glory Hole Studios in Chicago and beyond. This is Cognitive Dissonance. Every episode we blast anyone who gets in our way. We bring critical thinking, skepticism, and irreverence to any topic that makes the news, makes it big, or makes us mad. It's skeptical, it's political, and there is no welcome mat. Today is Wednesday. I always say Thursday, but today it is not Thursday. It is Wednesday, November the 19th. We are doing a little bit of pre-recording. We're a little early. We're a day early. We're a day after the Epstein vote.
Oh, yeah,
Cecil.
the release. Yeah,
the release.
So it was till one. They did one person said no, but everybody else, it was essentially unanimous in the House.
Do you feel like that one person just didn't get the memo and was looking around like, guys, I thought this was enough. This is awkward. I feel awkward right now.
They allowed one Republican to say no. They're like, okay, everybody, they had the big jar of all the beads, and they had to reach their hand in and pull out the one bead, and that's the one Republican that gets to say no.
Wouldn't it be fucking great if they pranked that guy and they made him go first, and nobody told him that everybody was a yes vote now? And he's like, we got you, Jim. You're on record, motherfucker.
Amazing. Amazing. They're photoshopping his name in there.
You know what? I actually vote against transparency.
There are people right now that are saying essentially there was enough time for them to scrub it. So there's anything will be redacted. There won't be anything in there. They already said that they were going to release stuff that was going to go after Democrats anyway. So it's kind of like one of these Pyrrhic victories, right? It's it's like, okay, you did it, but at the same time, it's not as juicy as you would have hoped. But I think it just happening because there was this weird collapse, and part of me wonders if because there was a pressure. I don't know. I mean, you saw it. Trump was pushing against it. He called it a hoax. He called it this. He called it that. He said, what's the big deal? Yada, yada, yada. And then finally he caved. But I wonder if he caved. I don't know if it's a chicken and egg situation I got going on here, Tom. The first one is, did he cave because the pressure was too much and he couldn't hold it back anymore? And so he's fine, I wanted it the whole time.
Right.
So he didn't look like an idiot. Or was it that they finally got to the position that they felt that they were safe with these files going out with the black and the right spots on them? And that is why he caved. Do you know what I mean? I feel like those are the two reasons, in my opinion, why someone like that might cave on it. I can't think anything else off the top of my head.
Here's my third alternative theory that I only developed because, so I developed this when I listened to the Washington Post this morning. So there was a Washington Post story that I just read that talked about how, it is the case that when they do these releases, one of the things that does not get released and is carved out specifically in this piece of legislation are any documents that pertain to ongoing legislation or ongoing investigations or criminal investigations.
Yeah.
And so what I think that they did is they figured out how to drum up a criminal investigation related to the Epstein situation in order to use that to sequester the documents that they didn't want to release, and that just took time. And so I think they said, all right, well, how can we hide the stuff we don't want to get out there? Well, we'll say that it pertains to this investigation. Yeah. You can't know because we don't release it. It's literally just hidden. We'll go through, we'll put all that stuff in this pile called it's part of an investigation. And by the way, we're investigating, Larry Summers and Bill Clinton. And so we're going to do an investigation on this stuff. So what I think is they just were buying time to figure out how to hide what they wanted to hide. That's honestly what I think at this point.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it seems at this point, when you look at how they handled all this whole thing, you're trying to stop it so that I don't know that they were trying to stop the idea of a conspiracy, but they certainly were trying to say that they weren't in on it, right? Yeah. The message that they were trying to send was there was a conspiracy. Then they got in office and there wasn't a conspiracy.
Right.
And then they started to change their tune to be like, well, it wasn't our conspiracy, is what I mean to say.
Right.
And
it's Democrats.
it's someone else's conspiracy. Well, look at this conspiracy I found on the ground. Someone just left this conspiracy right here. It's crazy. It was folded up like it was in their front pocket, and it just must have fell out when they grabbed their phone. And
well,
here
you know
it
the
is.
old rhyme, find a conspiracy, pick it up all day long, you'll have good luck. I don't know. Something like that.
In any case, they had to try to backpedal on this stuff. They had to figure out a way to backpedal. And there is no way that you could handle this worse in a way to try to feed more conspiracies. Like
I know, dude.
They did the absolute worst possible handling of this if they were thinking they were going to try to quash conspiracies. I know that was never their goal. It was never their aim. They never cared about that. But man, if that was your goal when you came out, you failed so epically hard. It's like as far 180 degrees from where you where you started.
And like we've talked about before, this is the problem of feeding this kind of like fervor and this kind of base and this kind of like just when you produce a disinformation and conspiracy machine, that thing is necessarily out of your control, right?
Sure.
Because it never relied on facts. So as soon as you produce a great big machine that all the thing does is just chew up nonsense and spit out bigger, more prettily wrapped nonsense, that's a machine you can never control. And it was never going to be able to be controlled. And like I was going to tell you this story. So I get my hair cut every couple of weeks at the same barber. And this guy and I've been getting my hair cut there for, I don't know, 6 or 7 years now. And he and I become friendly.
You're friendly with him.
Yeah, we're friendly. And he is starting to go down the rabbit hole. Oof. Like pretty bad. And like this last haircut, so I had a haircut, I don't know, a week or so ago. And like we're talking, and like he mentions like, oh yeah, like what do you think about like, you know, like the Jews in Israel and like, you know, fucking Candace Owens, and like he's just starting to go down the whole YouTube right-wing rabbit hole.
Yikes, bro.
Yeah, and I'm trying to like, but I'm there every couple of weeks for 45 minutes. I'm not going to swim upstream successfully against that.
No,
I'm not. And I'm watching somebody who went from being like a young guy who was unfortunately too enveloped by this sort of like ecosystem of information that's available primarily on YouTube. But he was a guy who was like pretty curious, and now he's starting to say things like, yeah, you know, I think like all these politicians are all pretty much the same. You can't trust anything that anybody says. The media feeds you he's just talking back all the same stuff, man.
Yeah.
It's all the same stuff. Both sides are the same. There's no differences. You can't trust the media. Like all this parroting is like coming back from him, and he has no idea that he's doing it. And I'm watching it happen to somebody in my life in real time. I've never had that experience before. Never. Yeah. But he's caught up in that same machine. Like the machine doesn't care what grist goes into it, right? The grist that goes into it is the grist that's in our book, right? Like you believe in any bullshit, awesome. Like that window is open, that door is cracked, terrific. Like we'll just keep feeding shit into
and
it.
there's a way you're going to fall into the new shit. No matter what it is, you're going to fall into the new shit.
And like Trump right now is the victim of the success of the sort of like capriciousness of that machine. So he rode in on the coattails of that machine. That the fact is that machine relies on our cognitive biases and our cognitive like desires. I was trying to tell my barber this. I was like, look, the reason you like all this stuff is because it explains the world with a story. And that story is more satisfying than sometimes random shit happens. And sometimes just some guy does something and it impacts the whole world because that's just how the world works.
Yeah.
Like that's not satisfying. The randomness and chaotic nature of life and society and people is unsatisfying. You like conspiracy theories like this, and he acknowledges that they're conspiracy theories. I'm like, you like them because they tell you one big story that you can wrap your whole world up into.
Man.
And it's more satisfying. I'm like, that's just your brain saying, I'd like to understand this all in one piece.
Yeah.
But like, sometimes some rando just shoots another guy, and then there's repercussions that ripple across the world. And there's no bigger story underneath it.
Yeah.
like-
Sometimes there's a sickness that travels all around the world. And
Yeah.
it's not engineered by anybody. And it's not that they were just trying to make money off people. And it's not that they were trying to control people by making them wear masks. It just so happened that a lot of people were afraid all at the same time of a very, very serious, debilitating disease that was traveling all across the world, hurting people.
That's
but
right.
that is uncaring, and that can't be controlled, and I can't compartmentalize that. What I can do is I can make it seem like it was nothing. It was a cold, and it was blown out of proportion by these evil actors who wanted to sell me a vaccine and make me wear a mask on my face.
Yeah. Yeah. All of it, man. All of that stuff. Like, that's a better story, because if I find out who the bad guys are, then I can put the bad guys in jail. If the bad guy is, you know what, because of the uncontrolled growth of like urban environments, we've destroyed the natural habitat, and that exposes us to a greater number of pathogens. Like, what am I supposed to do with that?
Yeah.
I can't throw that in jail. I can't throw like, hey, more viruses get released into the world from the wild. I can't throw that idea into jail. But if it's like some dude, if it's 20 some dudes, if it's, I'll tell you what, if it's an ethnic group, those answers are more satisfying to the parts of our brains that want answers. And like Trump is the victim of this right now. And not the victim. I don't think of him as a victim, but he is subject to the same whims, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, the thing that I think changes it big time is if the right turns on the right in a major way, and they're all thinking they're against each other and they all fight each other and it takes them down, I think it's easier to fight on the left than it is on the right. I'm not saying it's absent on the left, but I am saying like there's a way to fight it that's better on the left, because I don't think they've abandoned media completely. I don't think that they're adverse to some of the things that, you know, like that YouTube is trying to sell you something. YouTube's trying to sell your eyeballs attention. That people on the left, I think, understand that more than people on the right.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's still, I think on the left in general, part of what saves us is we have not like built our sort of like bulwark or foundation on this like anti-intellectualism.
Yeah.
And so if you have not disparaged expertise and intellectualism as like a foundational principle of your party, then on the left, you can say, well, we should find out what's true and what's the best method for it. And you can still retreat into truth. I think that part of the problem with the right is that they've like removed the safety net of truth, right? Because truth is something which is like not subjective, but objective. And like, that doesn't jive with alternative facts, man.
Well, and now you get a chance to see open policies by stupid people.
Yes.
Now you get an opportunity to see genuinely stupid policies put in there by really dumb people. And then you get to see how badly they fail. But then, you know, we're going to have stories where they're getting thanked for creating the pressure that they created. Like they're getting actively thanked because of that. But and that's also scary too, because these people don't even realize that they were being the squeezing was happening, but they were being squozen or whatever word you want to use there. I don't know what
I believe
word
it's squazified.
Squeezed? I don't know what it is. But in any case, they were being squozinated by fucking their own party, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah. And like one last quick thing too, is that when you put really stupid people in charge, one of the things that happens too is that the people who are not stupid, the billionaires who are not stupid, are looking at those people and saying, awesome, thanks for the patsy.
Oh my gosh.
Thanks for the dumbass. Like, look at Dick Cheney and W. Right? They put W in charge. W could fucking tie his shoes. That was all like, they were basically, who do we have that can tie his shoes and is from Texas?
Yeah, who's a turnstile?
Right. Yeah. And then he wasn't in charge of anything.
Yeah.
Like you could almost see in his press conferences the fucking marionette strings, you know, that were jerking him around. It's the same thing. Like stupid people in positions of power that have behind them huge amounts of money and interests that don't align with society. That's where we're at right now.
Yep.
That's it.
Now W's on fucking Monday Night Football talking.
Excuse what?
Yeah, he was like, they got interviewed by the fucking.
What is happening anymore?
What's the fucking the Manning brothers do a live stream at the same time as the football's going on, and I saw there was a clip of fucking W talking. They're interviewing W during a fucking game. He's on his redemption tour, man.
Yeah, man.
Hello, my name is Miss Piggy, the singing star of the Muppet Show.
Well, sue them.
I wonder, would you like to hear me sing?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Call me irresponsible. Call me unreliable. Call me.
Call you? What for? No money in hog calling.
Well, call this cigar breath.
All right. So Cecil, this story comes from CNN. Trump snaps at reporters' Epstein questions. Quiet, piggy. What a fucking unbelievably upsetting clip this was, actually, to watch, Cecil.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Epstein and I had a very bad relationship for many years. But he also saw strike because I was president. So he dictated a couple of memos to himself. Give me a break. You're going to find out what did he know with respect to Bill Clinton, with respect to the head of Harvard, with respect to all of those people that he knew, including J.P. Morgan Chase.
Sir,
Yeah,
if
Jennifer,
there's
go ahead,
nothing
go ahead.
incriminating in the file,
Venezuela,
why
sir?
not why are you acting as if
Quiet, Piggy.
There's a moment where he just stops and he looks at her and he literally says it. And it's not just, the thing is like when I first heard it, I was like, is that what he really said? But then a bunch of people started reporting that's literally what he said. This is CNN. There's a Reuters article about it. It's not like this is not I thought maybe, am I mishearing what he's saying? No, he literally called the person piggy.
We're just at this is where we are now. Like the press, whose job it is to hold power to account, the Fourth Estate, the press, the actual press, freedom of the press in our First Amendment. And when they go to hold the president to account simply by asking him a question, which is not a rude question, what he decides are rude questions. And by the way, we should be able to ask the president rude questions.
Yeah.
Like that. I just want to stop myself there and just say, like,
come on,
let me
man.
be clear. Like, you asked for this job.
Yeah.
You asked to be held to account to the American people. You asked to be a civil servant. That's what you fucking asked for. You stood on a bunch of stages, man, and you said, pick me. I'd like to be your civil servant. That's what you asked for. There's no such thing as kingly deference. That's not in a democracy, man. But his insistence on kingly deference is, one, absolutely a tip-off to how he sees power in his role and what he thinks is appropriate and inappropriate and what he thinks of the Fourth Estate, which is not fucking much. And then calling a woman piggy, like that is very specific. Like he is way more specific and targeted and consistent about name calling and insulting women and their looks.
Oh, yeah.
He does it
for sure.
fucking constantly. He did it with Rosie O'Donnell.
Yeah.
Like, remember the feud between him and Rosie O'Donnell back in the day?
He still does it with all kinds of people. He's like, he has this misogyny that just fucking oozes from his shitty, grotesque pores.
Yeah.
And he talks shit about all kinds of people. And he very specifically, what bothers me the most about this is that he says this to somebody, and then there's not anybody else in the press corps that stops and is like, what the fuck did you just say?
Yeah.
What the fuck did you just say? Did you just say piggy? What is wrong with you? And the thing is like, they're terrified of this guy because if they don't fucking acquiesce, then he's going to never give them access. And you're like, there needs to be something enshrined in law that says you cannot limit access. Nothing you do can limit access. And so then these people have every opportunity to ask hard questions. You, I think, pointed this out really well there. Really smart. Yes, you should be able to ask the hardest fucking questions in the world. And you know why I know this is true? Put the fucking president of Harvard in front of the Senate. And what kind of questions do they get asked, right? Put somebody else in front of the Senate and watch them get asked questions that would make, if this was your job, you would know you're fired later. You would know 100% that you're going to walk out of that room and you're going to get a pink slip. You would know it's true.
Yeah.
They get fucking grilled by the Senate. They get grilled by the House. They absolutely happens. Has Trump been asked a single question that is as hard as any of those questions that get asked in that other room? Absolutely not.
No.
He should have to field those questions, not just one, but multiple questions like that every single time he speaks.
Absolutely, man. And like in this same clip, one of the things he also does, he calls this woman Piggy, like in a clear misogynist deprecation of her person. Then he also is like, what news outfit are you from? And the person's like, ABC News. And he's like, it's fake news. It's fucking whatever that answer was going to be. It literally doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing, is that it makes no difference what that answer had been. What he's doing is saying, like, wherever you're from, if I don't like your question's legitimacy is trash.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
you are trash as a human being. Your question's legitimacy is trash. And like, what distresses me the most is that this is okay for most of America. Most of America has decided, yeah, that's fine. Because this isn't the first time or 12th time or 20th time he's done it. It's not like he just started this shit with his second term. This is stuff he's been doing his whole life. This is stuff that's been in the public his whole life. And it's not been disqualifying. So like, what this also does is tell us who we are. This is self-reflective.
Yeah.
And I think we have to pause and say, man, we got some fucking work to do. We got some absolute work to do. Can you imagine at your job? Like, I know you work for the podcast now.
I know you don't have a job, Cecil, but
no, you have jobs. You have podcasts, man. It's fucking real.
Yeah.
Look, man, it's real work. Ain't nobody gonna sell us that it's not real work.
No,
like,
I get it. I'm
real
just
work.
teasing. Anyway.
I know. But like, when you were working for the university, can you imagine telling somebody, quiet, Piggy? How would that have gone over?
I mean, you get fired, dude. I mean,
fired that minute.
There wouldn't even be a discussion. It would just be like, as soon as you said it, you would be like, I'll get my stuff. And then you'd walk out of the room. You would know you're fired.
Yeah. Dude, I remember within the first 6 months at my new job, I had a job, like I was the boss of this building, and like on the main floor in the cubicle space, there was this guy who just lit into our IT person. So he stood up, and this woman had done something he didn't like, or didn't do something. I don't even remember. It literally doesn't matter. And he started yelling at her about something. And I walked over and I'm like, well, obviously you're fired. Like, you can't do that. Like, like we didn't even have a conversation about it. I was like, John,
you're just fired.
I don't know.
Goodbye.
Yeah. I was like, I have no idea what you thought was going to happen here, but you need to get your things and leave. You've been fired right now. And like, just gather your stuff. And he was shocked. But it was like, you can't just yell at people at work.
Yeah.
And you can't yell at reporters, and you can't dismiss the First Amendment. And again, we've said it, but like, where's all my Second Amendment boys?
And I'll tell you what, like there needs to be some serious reforms in how the presidency interacts with social media and how it interacts with regular media.
Yes.
And those need to be laws, and they need to be codified in the next administration that makes sure that none of this stuff happens, that this sort of thing is a thing of the past. Because here's the thing, Tom, you were saying, half of us don't care. Like, half the country doesn't care, right? I will tell you this. If it was Biden who was doing this, more than half the country would care, right?
Yeah.
Not just the people who didn't like Biden, but I certainly wouldn't want Biden saying that to anybody. I'd be pissed off if Biden called somebody Piggy. I'd be pissed off if he called a guy a jackass one time. I think that was like the worst thing he said. He called do you remember this? Like, there was a hot mic and he called somebody a jackass or something like that. He's like, I don't even think he called him a jackass. I think he said it was a jackass question or something like that. And he was fucking lit up on everybody from every angle fucking went at him. Trump can literally attack somebody's character. I mean, we saw it, but when he was campaigning, he's mocking someone's disability. Who's
I know,
a
man.
reporter.
Yep.
So like, we knew what it was. I think there's no way, like, you know how I said before, you got to make people eat it. I don't think there's a way to have somebody in there who happens to be a person who is going to, tell like the right-wing reporters to shut the fuck up or get out of the room. That's not going to fly. And it's not going to fly with me either, right? Yeah. I'm not going to like it either. So I don't think that there's a way to fix this where it's like, make them eat it and make it, because I don't want to drag discourse down that much anymore. What I want to do is I want to fix it. Somebody's got to fucking fix it, because if you don't fix it, we're in for the rest of our life. We have an adversarial relationship between those two, and we don't get any information anymore.
Yeah, man. And I do want to point out that this is one of those misogynistic double standards where dudes get to be any fucking weight they want, and nobody's calling them fucking Piggy.
Yeah.
And like, I don't even know what this report looks like because it's not relevant. It makes literally no difference. But that kind of attack on looks based on weight is every time a targeted misogynistic attack. And we should just see that for exactly what that is.
For sure.
Like that's important.
Hey, you're parked in Brittany's spot. Haven't you heard? She's out. So can I join your little Nazi fashion clique now?
So this is interesting. There is a feud a-brewing. I didn't think this would be the thing, Cecil. This was not on my bingo card that Epstein would be the thing, but I love it.
Feed this to me. Feed this to me forever.
I love this shit too. So MAGA is splitting. Now, it is splitting because of Epstein. It's splitting very specifically.
Sure.
Trump is withdrawing his support for longtime ally Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Greene is a powerful House member. She's been a powerful House member for a long time. I hate to say to her credit, because I don't like pretty much anything about Marjorie Taylor Greene. But like, I will give her some credit here for being consistent on this issue from the jump and being like, yeah, we've said there's a fucking problem. We've said that there's a conspiracy of billionaires who have been, hiding sexual abuse. This Epstein shit is important. She said it was important. She's fighting about it, and she's willing to break with her party and break with Trump on it. And Trump is fucking furious about it.
He does not like any dissension at all. None whatsoever.
None.
Yeah.
None whatsoever.
And he has been on a rampage when it comes to this stuff. But what's really interesting, there's another story we have in here, Tom, and it got moved different place down at the bottom here, but it should be with her. She's actually receiving death threats amid this. Like, this is something like she's actually getting threatened. And gosh, if this could wake anybody up, this should wake you up and realize, oh shit, those people are bad. Those are bad people.
Yeah.
I've been in front of a bunch of people for a long time who are really genuinely awful people, and now I've got to deal with the backlash of these awful people who hate me.
Yeah, and this Marjorie Taylor Greene called this before it happened too, and I think that that's really telling, because the narrative on the right is that all of the violent political rhetoric and the fear of violence comes from the left, and the actual violence being perpetrated is left-wing violence. That is what the right has been out there selling. They sold it real hard after Charlie Kirk was killed, and they've been selling it real hard ever since. That is absolutely incompatible with the idea that, hey, if Trump withdraws his support for me, I'm going to get death threats then later, and I got those death threats. Because I'll tell you what, they didn't come from the left. What you said is, look, the people on the right are a bunch of raving lunatics, and if I lose the support of the fucking Trumpers, they're going to come after me. How in the world do you square that with the idea that the base, the majority of the violence and the violent rhetoric and the domestic terror is all coming from the left? Those things are just necessarily mutually exclusive. They self-annihilate. It's fucking matter and antimatter.
Yeah, man.
It's a big, this, that should be part of the story here. I wonder, Cecil, genuinely, and I wonder if you think this too, when this stuff gets reported, I wonder why that kind of analysis is so rarely included. Because doesn't it seem to be such an obvious through line when Marjorie Taylor Greene is like, hey, I'm going to get death threats. And then Marjorie Taylor Greene says, I got death threats. Why isn't anybody writing specifically about the tension there between what the right has said about where violence and violent rhetoric comes from?
Yeah, great point.
Why is it fucking us talking about it?
Yeah. Yeah, why aren't more people talking about the very specific? Because how much have you heard that it is a left problem that there's these death threats? She's like, well, if Marjorie Taylor Greene starts going after the right, it's certainly not the left who's sending them death threats.
That's crazy. Like, Trump pulls his support from Marjorie Taylor Greene, she gets death threats. You can't say, well, obviously the Democrats did that. Why would that be a thing? It makes no sense.
What would be there's some guy in a fucking lab coat with a big ass fucking magnifying glass trying to figure out what the cause and effect is here. Jesus,
the fucking Pink Panther music is playing in the background.
You don't have to be a genius to figure this out. It's pretty fucking obvious. And here's the thing, man, I still very much dislike Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yes.
I think she's a cancer in the very specifically thinks she's a cancerous type of person who shouldn't be in office. She's literally just a mouth on a stick. Like, that's what she is. She's a yelling, screaming id in the middle of people who should be thinking more rationally. She doesn't care. She actually doesn't, lots of times doesn't make any sense when she talks. She doesn't have good questions that she asks. She's literally a load when it comes to whether or not she should be in the, she's just somebody who you throw in for ballast. Like, she's political ballast is what she is. She's just someone who's going to vote once in a while and say the dumbest shit you could possibly imagine. So I have no respect for her. I don't think she's worth anything. But what I will say is that often, like, some of these people will wake up, and it's funny because it's not just one thing. There's multiple things she seems to be waking up about at the same time. And you're like, man, you fucking made this bed. Like, you didn't just make this bed. You fucking built this bed. You were in a wood shop with a fucking planer. You've been working. You were sewing a fucking mattress together. You were building this fucker for years. Sleep in that bitch. Sleep in it.
Yeah. I mean, I hope that everybody sees this division between MAGA. And what I really hope is that this is the thing that breaks this party in half. I think it's insane that it's not any of the deeper, more like, policy-based, more substantive and humanitarian issues. Not that this Epstein stuff, not that like this sexual abuse and child sex trafficking is not a big deal. It's a massively big deal. But like, I kind of don't care what it is that rips this party apart. I just want to see this party torn asunder because these are bad fucking people. They're all bad people, right? Marjorie Taylor Greene is not the hero here. She's a piece of shit. She happens to be right accidentally like a stopped clock at the moment.
She's just another victim of that shitty party.
Exactly.
She was someone who was inflicting damage before, and now she's getting damage, but she's just another victim of the Republicans.
Let me ask you this question then, because something else just occurs to me. So up until like kind of now, up until the election that just took place, Cecil, Trump has had a stranglehold on this party, right? If he said jump, everybody said how high.
Yeah.
He like the Democrats just swept the November election, the off-year November election. They're coming up on their midterms. Trump cannot get reelected. He's essentially an early lame duck.
And I don't know if you saw, but there's multiple reports out now that are saying the Republican approval rating hasn't been this low in like 9 years.
Yeah, I haven't seen that, but I'm not surprised. And I wonder if what we're going to see now, based on this defection, is a large scale en masse defection, right? So like, here you've got Trump.
Thought that around other things, though.
I know, and I think that there still will be more acquiescence than less. But I think like what was true before is that Trump basically had the ability to say, if you don't fall in line, bad shit happens to you. I will make sure that you are primaried. I will sick my maggots at you. I will do this, that, and the other thing. But if that base begins to fracture, will the right pull away from Trump? And will we see that real division here? Because again, he really is a lame duck. And especially, Cecil, if the Democrats perform well in 26.
Yeah.
Like if the Democrats perform well in 26, Trump is neutered.
If that happens, I think there's going to be a serious pulling away from Trump. This is a story from Reuters. It says Donald Trump's approval rating fell to 38%, the lowest since his return to power, with Americans unhappy about his handling of the high cost of living and the investigation into Jeffrey Epstein. And so it was a poll that they took. And so it's just showing it absolutely plummeting. It's about where Biden, it's lower than Biden was at any point.
Oh, Jesus. Wow.
So it's low. Pardon me. It's as low as Biden was, I think. 36 was as low as Biden got. 34 is the lowest Trump got, but that was right after January 6th. So 34 was the lowest Trump ever got on the 12th of January 2021, which was 6 days after January 6th, was the lowest Trump ever got. Trump is now a couple points higher than that. Trump is essentially at his like after he lost the last election, he's about at the same level right now.
So something else that just occurs to me. I'm curious what you think. So, and this might come across as a little shitty, but I don't actually mean it that way. I think most Americans don't understand economics very well, right? I think that
No,
that, I
that's
do
not
think
shitty. That's just true. Yeah.
Right? And I think that we're in a place where, everybody is upset about the high price of everything, right? Housing, medical care, groceries, energy, everything has gone up, right? Everything's gone up a lot. And I think that people misunderstand how this works in the sense that what the best case scenario going forward is that inflation, which is the a rate of growth in prices, slows down. But if inflation slows down, prices don't go down. I don't think people understand that.
They don't.
If
They don't
inflation
get it.
slows
They don't
down,
get it.
prices don't go down. What that means is that prices stop going up as quickly. Prices don't ever actually go down for the most part, right? So deflation would be its own economic crisis. And the Fed has a mandate to not allow that to happen. So there is a 0% chance outside of a major economic crisis that we will see prices go down. What we will see is hopefully the best case scenario for prices overall, right? So like, don't email me that some prices may change. I understand that that is the case. But broadly speaking, when you look at something like CPI, the best case scenario is that prices will stabilize and grow at a slower pace. And I think people believe that prices are going to go down, Cecil, and that if they don't go down, they're going to punish the party in charge. And I think that might actually, I think Americans' bad understanding of economics and what inflation is might actually work in our favor in 26 because
Only
there's a
for
0% chance.
Yeah, but it's only for one election cycle, right?
Yeah, that's
So,
very
like,
true.
It's like what I said when Trump won. It could be that they're just trying to turn it on and turn it off again and hope for a different outcome, right? It could
I think so.
And this would point to that if they don't realize how inflation actually works, they could be like flipping the switch madly, being like, well, I need it to go down. And you're like, it's not going to go down. I don't care what you do. You're never going to get it down. And I will remind you of this. I think you're right. And I'm gonna do a sort of a corollary. I'm gonna point to something else in government that people don't understand. And it's the filibuster, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like a lot of people don't understand that if you have the three houses, the two houses and the presidency, not the three houses. There's not three houses. There's two houses. Like, so you have the Senate, you have the House, and you have the presidency. That doesn't necessarily mean you can pass whatever you want.
Right.
It just means that you have the ability, if something comes across, to pass. You can't introduce anything that's not budgetary legislation without the other party's approval. So you need to get that other party's approval in order to do it, and people don't get that. So
Right.
what happened when Biden won was, and they had one extra, they had it with Kamala Harris, they had a way to fucking jump on one side of
Yeah.
the fucking, the teeter-totter, just barely to make it slowly tip their way. Everybody was like, well, why didn't they just pass all this stuff? And you're like, oh, you don't understand how it works.
Right.
They can't just say that stuff and be like, we're going to enshrine in here all these different laws, because you can't even bring it most of the time.
Yeah. It doesn't even come to the floor for a vote.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we got a deeply broken system that prevents most legislation from even going to the floor for a vote. It almost, like, most stuff just dies in committee. It can't ever make its way into the House for a fucking yay or nay vote, which is very intentional because these guys don't want to be on record.
Yeah.
So they have to go on record as abstaining yay or nay, and they don't want to create that record. So most of the obstruction is done at the point of committee, so it never moves itself out of committee.
Yeah.
It's a broken fucking system for sure. And you're right. We don't understand it. I'm
They
a
don't
little
understand it.
worried that with prices having gone up as high as they are, and like wages not keeping pace, and the economic pain that people are feeling, I'm a little worried, Cecil, that like for the foreseeable future, it's just going to be light switches all the time, man.
I think so. I think
just
that's what we're doing.
constantly fucking flipping the switch in a desperate hope.
Unless you can come in and really do a lot to help. You can't change the prices, but you can change the environment around the prices by offering things like people getting more help for childcare, people getting more help for college, people getting more help, creating new jobs, all these things, increasing wages, taxing the rich so there's a bigger, more robust social safety net, giving people better and more access to healthcare. All that stuff alleviates that inflation, right?
Yeah.
So you can alleviate it. I can't turn the price down on the fucking whatever the fuck, right? The Downy soap. I can't. That's Downy's not soap. It's fabric softener.
That's
I don't know
right.
what I'm talking. I'm going crazy here. But in any case, I can't turn it down. But what I can do is I can bring the rest of it up so that it's not as damaging to your pocketbook every time.
Yeah, man. That you're exactly right. Can I talk real quick about housing real quick? Because I know that's been a big, I know it's not in our notes, Cecil, but Trump's been also putting out there some ideas in a desperate, I think very desperate bid to try to look like he's addressing the high cost of housing. Housing prices, as everybody knows, have just exploded in ways that are bizarre and unrealistic. And how a single family home is just out of reach for most people now. The cost of a single family house and the income you need to buy it doesn't even come close to the median income for a family in America. So it's crazy, and everybody knows it's crazy. Trump's put out 2 proposals, both of which I want to talk very briefly about because they're terrible. The first is a 50-year mortgage.
I saw this. This is crazy.
So here are the problems with a 50-year mortgage. I wanted to dispel the first criticism because I keep reading about it, and it's a bad criticism. The first criticism is you'll never own your home. That's a stupid criticism. It's a stupid criticism because most people don't end up owning their home because they made 360 payments over the course of 30 years. That's actually not the way most people pay off a home. The way most people pay off a home is they buy and sell back and forth until their equity position allows them to buy for cash. So they sell a house, they've gained some equity, they realize some cash on it. Now they have more equity on that house. Then they buy a house usually to downsize, and they use the equity from their prior home in order to buy that house. Most people don't buy their house because they made all the payments in a row. That's just not how that is. And it's not just statistically not how that happens. So I don't think that's actually the right criticism to level against the 50-year mortgage. The 50-year mortgage is a bad idea, though. It's a bad idea for, I think, 3 reasons. The first reason is that when you increase the term, the amount of time you have to pay a loan back, you also every single time increase the interest rate. So a 15-year loan has a lower interest rate than a 30-year loan. A 50-year loan will have a higher interest rate than a 30-year loan. And the way that amortization of loans works, if you take a $400,000 loan, for example, and you amortize it for 30 years, and you look at your monthly payment, and then you do the same thing for a 50-year loan, even if you keep the rate the same, which will not be the case, it's about a $200 a month difference. It's not a big difference. Then when you increase the rate to something that makes some sense, you're looking at a difference of like $100, $125, give or take.
How much is that?
It's
over the course of the loan. It's like intense amount of money for the bank, though.
The bank gets a huge amount of money. You take forever to build any equity, right? You barely save any money on that loan over the course of time. It's absolutely a terrible idea. But the other reason that it's a bad idea is it doesn't solve the underlying housing problem. The underlying housing problem is not that it is too expensive to buy houses. That's the symptom. The problem is there's not enough houses. We stopped building houses. After the 2008 market crash, we essentially stopped building houses. The problem is a supply problem. So if you attack the problem by increasing the amount of people who might want to get a mortgage, you're actually going to drive prices up. That's a major problem. It's the same problem with the portable mortgage. The portable mortgage idea is that if I have a 2.9% interest rate that I got during the pandemic, I can sort of take that rate with me and use that to buy my next house, which sounds great. But what that does is it just makes us buy and sell the same houses to ourselves over and over again. it doesn't increase the supply. We're reselling existing houses back and forth. And every time you resell the house, it gets more expensive. Because if it didn't get more expensive, you wouldn't sell it, blah, blah, blah. That's how equity works. So what we need to do is have a major federal program to subsidize massive new home building across America. And we need to have massive programs that address some of the zoning problems that create, these housing inequalities across America. We need to build houses. We have to build our way out of this problem. You can't sell yourself the same. You can't move money from your left pocket into your right pocket and say, I have more money now. In the same way that you can't sell the house you already had back to somebody different and say we solved the housing problem. These are just such bad ideas. They will create more demand. They will absolutely create more demand, but they won't create any more supply. Housing prices would just go up, dude. It will make the problem like 100 times worse. 100 times worse. And like what's crazy, and I'll just stop, but like people in my industry know this as well as everybody else. And I'm like, this would be good for me personally because it will drive more transactions. And I'm an existing homeowner, so my equity will increase. But this is bad for the country, and it's stupid, and it's short-sighted, and all this really does is continue to consolidate wealth at the top.
Yeah, man.
That's what it will do. And I just have to put that out there.
There was never, ever, ever going to be anything else that Trump did.
Yeah.
Trump 100% had started out in the beginning doing this sort of thing. I will consolidate as much wealth at the top as I can. I will piss on the little guy as often as I can. I will not fix real problems. I will put Band-Aids on that make people rich. That's what I'm going to do. And that's all he's ever done.
Welcome to another edition of Thunderdome.
I want to read this whole thing. This is so funny to me. This is from The Hill. When I saw this, I read this out loud to Haley because it made me laugh. It's from The Hill. UFC fighter rejects White House cage match. Hunger Games type of fucking shit. Let me read this. Also, Cecil, I laughed because there's a listen to the audio version of this article link, and I didn't click on it, but there's so much bleeped out in this. I wonder what
I can't imagine they're going to be sick because it's all effing. It's all effing.
So this guy swears like he's on our show. UFC fighter Brandon Royval slammed a series of cage matches set to take place at the White House next June, comparing the event to the dystopian book series The Hunger Games. I don't give a shit about fighting at the fucking White House, he said during a Monday appearance on the In the Arena MMA podcast. I don't give a fuck about any of our political figures right now. And it's like, to fight in front of them seems like some fucking Hunger Games type of fucking shit. I don't give a fuck. It is. I don't give a fuck to fight in front of some fucking billionaires and rich people that could give a shit less about me, probably throwing parlays. Fuck you guys. Also, I'm too Mexican looking. ICE is suspiciously arresting motherfuckers, and I don't know.
Jesus
Who knows,
Christ.
bro? Next thing you know, I'm in Mexico, and I don't speak Spanish. Dude thank you for calling it out.
Dude gets it. Yeah, man. Dude gets it. I love it. And what's great is like, I think that you're going to only be able to attract to this particular thing people who are crazy Republicans.
Yeah.
And so the good thing is that this entire event, when this happens, it will be a Republican fighting a Republican. So a Republican will get knocked out, which is solid. I think that's the best thing. That's the best thing that can happen.
What? When you told me about this and I learned about this live, I'll never forget learning about this live on air in real time. It's Brawndo, man. It's just straight up Brawndo.
100%. Yeah.
This is what plants crave.
You are feeding it into the White House sprinklers. It's Powerade in the sprinklers.
We need to not do the dystopias. I don't know that everybody's figured that out. Like, I know dystopian literature and dystopian fiction is having its fucking, it's having its moment again. It's having its resurgence. I understand the cultural forces that make that happen, but like, these are supposed to be warnings, man. These aren't supposed to be the thing we do. These aren't aspirational dystopias.
Yep.
What are we doing, man?
Dude,
on the White House.
I don't know, man. Fucking the White House. Like, did you expect anything less, though? Like, of course you didn't. This is a president who has received the stone cold stunner in the past. Of course, this was going to happen.
Oh my God, that's fucking great.
Lilu Dallas Multipass.
Yeah.
Multipass.
Leela, multipass. She knows it's a multipass. Leela Dallas, my wife. We're newlyweds. Just met.
Multipass.
You know how it is. Bump into each other, sparks happen. Yeah, she knows it's a
Multipass.
multipass. Yeah, anyway, we're in love.
This story is from the AP. Justice Department quietly replaced identical Trump signatures on recent pardons. So Trump was all fucking cuckoo about the auto pen.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like it was it's just a way to sign stuff. It's nothing. Like the auto pen is nothing. It is the most made up nothing burger non-scandal ever. Trump called it the biggest scandal in American history. By the way, like nobody cares. Like I want to stop.
He said that as a shaman was swinging from a chandelier in the White House.
I know, man. Like he's said so many things are the biggest scandal in American history. First of all, like there's like so many biggest scandals in American history.
None of them
according
involve
to
him, but anyway.
And like I agree that the biggest scandal in American history has definitely occurred recently.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's. I think that thing is still warm. It came out of the oven recently.
Right?
Absolutely.
But it's not like what method somebody used to sign a pardon. Nobody cares. I just want to, like, every time he does this, it's like, stop trying to make fetch happen. What are you doing? This is not a thing, man.
And what is so appalling about this story is that people noticed the signatures were the same exact signatures on these released pardons. Literally, like, hold it over. It's exact. This is an auto pen. This is not a human signing these papers. That's not a scandal. But pointing it out, the Justice Department went and changed all that stuff so that it didn't look like they were the same signatures. This is someone who right in front of you, when you're like, hey, did you steal my money? And they're just like folding your money and then they're like putting it in their pocket and they're like, what money? Like, it's fucking unbelievable the shit they will do in plain sight. And you're just like, dude, we saw you do it. And they're like, no, never did it. Never did it. It's like they have a fucking fire hose of gaslight that they're just shooting everybody with. It's insanity, man.
Dude, and then this is my favorite part of this story. I couldn't wait to talk about the story with you because then they said, first of all, nothing happened, and then they blamed the Democrats. Let me read this because this is the world you have to like acknowledge we're living in. This is great.
Outstanding.
Chad Gilmartin, a Justice Department spokesperson, said the website was updated after a technical error where one of the signatures President Trump personally signed was mistakenly uploaded multiple times due to staffing issues caused by the Democrats' shutdown.
So what they did is they stole your money. They stole your money. They folded it in half while they were talking to you, and then they reached behind a Democrat's ear and was like, what's this? And then they put it in their pocket. That's what they did.
It was the Democrats that did it.
It was the Democrats the whole time.
Dude, there are people out there who are like, that's right. And it was, buy more gold, Martha. We got to buy gold and cryptos. Buy me
Amazing,
3 cryptos and 6 golds, and it was the Democrats, them dirty dogs.
They
them
just
dirty,
pull
dirty
the
dogs.
They drive up in the mystery machine. They pull the mask off the auto pen, and it's fucking Chuck Schumer the whole time.
It's so fucking insane. Where are you? What are you doing? What are you even doing?
It's the auto pen.
Did you also in this article? I didn't know that like Trump took Biden's portrait out of the White House and put up a portrait of an auto pen.
Auto pen up there. Yeah. I saw.
Are you 12?
Yeah, he's
fucking 12?
He's such a child. He's such a child. And you know what? This is a perfect transition. Let's talk about this last story while we're in this. Because this is a Tennessee Democrat suggests tearing down the Trump ballroom if Trump loses in 2028. And I cannot agree more with basically wiping everything he's ever done and treating him exactly how he's treated other presidents. So every single picture that is ever done, that is in any place ever about him in the U.S. government should be a picture of him with Epstein. Like, here's the thing. I would literally scrub everything he's done. He's talking about putting up an Arc de Triomphe. I don't know if you've seen this.
Have you seen that? I have read that.
So he's got plans where he wants to put up a victory arc. The first day he's out of office, I would be like, get the fucking jackhammer. That's coming down. I would ruin everything he's ever put up. I would erase his memory. I would literally erase his memory from the I would destroy the ball. The first thing I'd do is I'd walk in. I'd be like, I don't just want you to take it down. I want you to blow it up with demolitions. That's what I want.
What is the Arc de Triomphe we would have? What is it symbolizing the triumph
I don't
over?
know.
Like, he's going to declare of like, you know, like there's like fucking VE Day and like, he's going to declare some kind of victory day. He already declared a liberation day. Wait, liberated from who? There's going to be an Arc de Triomphe. What did we triumph over? What is happening? We triumph over like a few fucking speedboats in Venezuela full of maybe fishermen.
Yeah.
Where's the triumph? Like some guy at a car wash doesn't work there anymore. What did we triumph over? There's no triumph here. What the fuck?
And I say too, don't just blow up his ballroom, but every single one of these fucks that has been fucking perpetrating crimes on the United States people need to pay for what they did.
Absolutely,
These people that are in fucking Chicago right now, especially that little boss, that like 4-foot guy who wanders around and he's surrounded by all these big guys all the time. He looks like a fucking Ewok. He's like the size of an Ewok. And he wanders around. Take that guy and fucking prosecute that fuck for everything that ICE did. Be like, you were the one in charge. So all the damage they caused, all the people they hurt, all the people that they misidentified, everything comes out of your ass. Everything comes out of your ass when we're done.
Every
Make it so
civil rights
nobody will
violation,
take the job of a fucking authoritarian in the future. Make it so nobody looks at an authoritarian person who steps into the office and is like, I'll take that job. Everybody's like, fuck you. You do that job.
Yeah, dude, 1,000%. Like all these fuckers that got a signing bonus for fascism, fuck those guys.
Yeah.
Let's see them all rot in fucking prison. Like if you didn't do anything, awesome. You didn't do anything. But if you're on camera beating the shit out of people, shooting fucking pepper balls at people, like that Bovino guy got caught out for lying to a federal judge. He's like, yeah, I threw that fucking smoke canister or whatever of tear gas canister after somebody threw a rock at me. And then the video evidence comes out and he threw it first. And he's like, yeah, I threw it first. And nothing's happening to this guy.
Something should happen to him.
We're in a consequence-free space, but man, spaces, go ask a Nazi. Do spaces stay consequence-free forever?
Yeah.
There's a lot of fucking stretched necks that would say no.
You owe me money, blacksmith.
How do you figure?
My horse threw a shoe. And seeing as you was the one that done the shoe, and I say that makes you responsible.
Well, since you never paid me for that job, I say that makes us even.
Wrong! See, I was on my horse when it threw the shoe and I got thrown off. And that caused me to bust a perfectly good bottle of fine Kentucky Red Eye. So the way I figure it, blacksmith, you owe me $5 for the whiskey and $75 for the horse. That's $80.
The stories from the Independent. MAGA world celebrates Trump ending coffee and steak tariffs that he put into place. This might be the plan all along. Raise prices artificially with tariff. This would be the only way that he could create the illusion of deflationary pricing pressure.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong.
Oh my God, Cecil. This is how you do it, right? You create the illusion of you artificially increase inflation through tariffs. Then you roll those tariffs back. It looks like prices went down. And a bunch of people who've never balanced their fucking checkbook in their lives are like, he done brought prices down. I ain't paying as much as I done paid yesterwards. And that's it. And like, vote Trump. Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
I don't think you're wrong. And I think what's crazy is that this is so obvious to see that he is the architect of these price increases. You know it's true.
Yeah.
And they're like, thank goodness these tariffs are gone. And you're like, dude, what is happening right now? This is literally,
Cecil.
When did you stop beating your wife?
Yeah, man. Cecil, if I walk into your house and I set a series of small fires and then I walk around with a fire extinguisher and I put out 3 out of the 6 fires I set in your house.
I am going to create an arc for you. An arc to triumph. That's what I'll do, Tom. I will have
I'm not a hero.
Yeah.
What do you like? You'd be like, hey, only half my house burned down. Thanks to Tom.
Thank you. Also, I'm very angry at you, but I'm half not angry at you.
Yeah. This is like, I fucked your wife, but I only fucked her mouth. Like, what? What?
Wow. Amazing.
Was this? I came on her back. It's fine. It doesn't even count. It doesn't even count.
I didn't do it. Look, me and your wife may have had a relation, but it was through the wall of a glory hole. All right, that's going to wrap it up for this week. We'll be back with a funny show a little later this week. On Thanksgiving, we'll have a funny show. And then we will be back on Monday with a full one. But we're going to leave you like we always do with the Skeptic's Creed.
Credulity is not a virtue. It's fortune cookie cutter mommy